Well, good morning, good people, and welcome to day 3 of your Daily Bread Daily Devotional. I want to begin this morning by saying I want to remind you of our memory verse for the week, which comes from Psalms 23, verse 6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What a powerful and practical memory verse. And if we can get that integrated into our lives, I think you might be surprised at some of the outcome and what it produces in your life. Today, though, I really want to just kind of share with you for a couple of moments and speak to you from my heart. Because over these days of devotionals, we're really trying to cultivate some good habits, some godly habits that at the end of the day will ultimately transform your life. And among other things, at the top of that list would be the habit of prayer. Forming the habit of prayer. Now, I'm going to confess some things this morning that I grew up in a great Christian home. I had phenomenal pastors. I had a righteous upbringing, if I can say it that way. And yet, when push came to shove, I ultimately denied the Lord because I really didn't have a consistency in my walk with God. And among other things, I really didn't have a consistency in terms of my prayer life. Oh, sure, I went to church on Sundays. I would respond to altar calls. I would renew my commitment on a pretty regular basis. And yet, without a consistency in my prayer life, ultimately, compromise found its way to my life. When I rededicated my life to Christ, I recognized that I needed to build into my life a consistent prayer life. Here's how I did that, and it's not overly complicated. In fact, it's not very sophisticated at all. It was very simplistic in its approach, and if I can say it this way, it was just the beginning steps of baby steps. And simply what I would do when I would get off work every day, I would just go to my apartment, I would go into my room, I would shut the door, and I would just sit there, and I just began to talk to God. I would just be telling Him about my feelings, about my challenges, about my questions, about my fears, about my doubts. And I also gave God the opportunity to talk back because it wasn't to be a monologue, it was to be a dialogue. But that really comes to me from Matthew chapter 6. And I want to read that this morning to you in the Message paraphrase. And here's what it says. It says, here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted to role play before God. Just be there as simply and honestly as you can manage. Now notice this. The focus will shift from you to God, and you will begin to sense His grace. And as we enter into this spiritual growth campaign, one of the things that we hope that will happen in the lives of every person who attends Stream City Church is that every person would begin to sense in an increasing way, in an intensified way, the overwhelming sense of God's grace and just how powerful He is and how personal He is. So I want to encourage you today as you spend some time with God. You don't have to role play, you don't have to pretend, you don't have to put on a mask, you don't have to be on your best behavior. You just have to be truthful, you just have to get real. And as you bring that reality into your relationship with God, the reality of who God is will find its way into your life. Hope that you have a great day today. God bless, and we'll see you later.